Hey, just coming down the mountain, and I thought I'd talk to you about arthritis. Yes, well, I was born in 1967. That makes me around 57 and a half years old. So anyway, a couple of years ago, I started having some pain in my left knee. Kind of strong pain. It was bothering me. So I go to my doctor, and I tell him about it. He orders some scans. The scans come back. They say, arthritis. Osteoarthritis, grade 4, 4th grade. That's what they told me. So the doctor tells me to go see a specialist, a surgeon. So I go to the surgeon, and he brings me into his office. He puts up the scans, and he says, well, Mr. Brundtland, I think we're just going to start by taking a look at the anatomy of your knee. So he goes through, and he takes a look, and he says, well, yeah, I can see why they said that, but why are you here? And I said, well, because I have pain in my knee. And he says, okay, well, Mr. Brunton, what you have is a pain problem. You don't have an arthritis problem, you have a pain problem. I said, interesting. Can you tell me more? And he said, well, I've seen people with knees in far worse shape than your knee. And these people do marathons. And I said, whoa, really? He didn't know who he was talking to. So I said, well, that is good news, he said. And he was kind of surprised. Oh, okay. Because, and I told him, because I kind of take care of those things. Certain types of pain I can take care of, at least in my own life. And I've helped other people do it as well. So anyway, at that moment, I thanked him. I said, thank you so much. He was a little surprised to see how happy I was. And he said, well, you know, if ever you need to, we can come and do, in French, an infiltration. It's an injection that is just done to deal with the pain, basically. So, so he was a bit surprised, but I left on very good terms with this man. And I decided at that moment that I was going to be like those people who do marathons with bad knees. Now, when I say I wanted to be like them, as I'm coming down the mountain, it's a bit slippery, so I have to pay attention. It's splitting my attention now. So, anyway, I decided to be like those people. So I don't do marathons, and it doesn't really move me inside as an objective I want to accomplish. But what I did want to do, and what I do want to do, is keep moving. So I used to really love running cross country as a kid, and I love cross country skiing. So I decided to implement that into my weekly exercise routines. So at the beginning, I had to start kind of, gradually. I would have some pain, but I decided that I wasn't going to let that pain slow me down. So especially at the beginning, I'd have a little pain, and then I'd realize, it would go away. And since that moment, once in a while I have a little tweak here and there, and it could be even my right knee. And the fact that it just takes my attention for a second or two, to me is not that important. I don't really care about that kind of pain. It's not really strong pain. It's not pain that stops me in my tracks, makes me fall over. No, it's just these kind of little tweaks once in a while. And but what the important thing is, reason I'm talking to you today, is that I've managed to increase my time. Now I can do hikes for hours and hours. I can run very easily for an hour and a half. It's usually my schedule that holds me back from doing more. And so when we get, news from doctors like this, of course it's very important to take it seriously. But it's also important, I find, to find out what we can do on a behavioral level, what we can do when we get this news. It's not necessarily the end of the world. It's not necessarily the end of your pleasure. We can find pleasure and joy and beauty in adding these beautiful experiences to our weeks. So anyway, hope that inspires you to just feel a little courage and to move a little bit, or maybe a little bit more. All right, take care.